In the heart of the bustling city of New York lies an unsettling question. Could the immigrant crisis inadvertently be shaping a shadow crisis among the city's black minorities? The thought sends a bone-chilling shiver down our spine and makes us wonder, are we overlooking a crisis within a crisis? It's a question that calls not just for our attention, but a thorough, in-depth analysis. We are committed to shedding light on this under-acknowledged crisis. Between the years of 2020 and 2024, New York City has seen an unprecedented increase in immigrant population. This surge, fueled by international conflicts and economic hardships, has brought a wave of diverse cultures and talents to the city. But it also brought forward a question: what is the impact on the city's black minorities? According to a report by the Center for Urban Community Services, black New Yorkers are disproportionately represented among the homeless population. They make up about half of the city's homeless adults, despite being only a quarter of the general population. This disparity has only grown in recent years, with a notable spike coinciding with the immigrant influx. Dr. Angela Davis, a renowned sociologist, suggests that this is not a mere coincidence. She asserts that the competition for low-wage jobs, affordable housing, and other resources has intensified, and black New Yorkers often find themselves at a disadvantage. Moreover, political analysts have noted a trend in the political landscape that may be exacerbating this issue. President Joe Biden, during his campaign, seemed to pivot his primary focus towards immigrant rights, leaving some black communities feeling sidelined.
Joe Biden ran his race and his campaign on immigration. And when he was asked a direct question concerning the black agenda and reparations for the black descendants of U.S. slavery, he ignored black concerns altogether and stated that Hispanics are the future and shall not be ignored.
Vice President Biden, do you support reparations?
I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is that not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America, and we should invest in them. Everybody will benefit from it, every single American, and you should get used to it. This is a nation of immigrants. That's who we are. That's why we're who we are. That's what makes us different.
Let me break something down for you real quick. First, Biden is trying to create a rift between blacks and Latinos. It's an age-old divide and conquer tactic. If two minority groups are fighting over the leftover resources, they are not thinking about the one that possesses the real wealth. So be careful not to fall into this trap. Joe Biden is trying to turn blacks against immigrants, but don't fall for it. While immigrants are replacing blacks in the workforce, it is not the immigrants' fault. It is the companies that have simultaneously decided that immigrant labor was the future. But instead of outsourcing the labor, they are importing the laborers to replace blacks in the workforce. You can see it happening all across this nation. When you voted for Biden, you opened up 4 years of open borders. What does this mean for blacks politically? Well, Joe Biden campaigned on immigration, and he made a point to ignore and discard black issues. He was imitating the Republican Party. Most Republican candidates ignore black issues because they do not need the black vote. Joe Biden campaigned on ignoring black people issues. If he had lost, it would have been a lesson to him that he must address black issues. But he won. So here's my prediction for the first 4 years. He will open up the borders and flood the U.S. with immigrant laborers.
Three of the country's biggest cities now say their areas are almost at capacity for handling the surge of migrants currently pouring over the U.S.-Mexico border. The mayors of New York City, Denver, and Chicago have all pleaded with federal authorities for assistance as the border sees a record number of crossings. Just yesterday, Mexico and the Biden administration formally agreed to work together to keep the border open for asylum seekers while curbing illegal migration.
Then his cabinet will work arduously to have immigrants registered to vote. By doing this, he will make the black vote irrelevant in both parties, Democrat and Republican. So both Democrats and Republicans will be able to ignore the black vote altogether.
The appeals court hearing arguments about whether people who live permanently in the city but aren't U.S. citizens should be able to vote in local elections.
A law granting them voting rights was approved back in 2021, but halted after a group of Republicans sued the city. Fox 5's Linda Schmidt walks us through the details of the case.
Diana Woojum Park and her family immigrated from Korea when she was 1 year old. It has been decades, and her parents cannot vote. She and other immigrant advocates are hoping a New York State Supreme Court judge will reinstate a city law allowing non-citizens to vote in city elections.
This is for a pathway to citizenship and for our rights.
City Council passed the law in 2021, giving about 900,000 legal permanent residents, as well as people authorized to work in the United States, the right to vote in local elections. Republican Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella, along with some Republicans on both the state and federal level, sued the city to prevent the law from being enacted, and a Staten Island judge ruled in their favor.
Very simply, it's unconstitutional, and we think the city council overreached.
Now the city is fighting in court to try and overturn the judge's ruling.
They've served on the front lines during the pandemic, and they continue to serve our communities day in and day out. Plain and frankly, they deserve the opportunity to vote in local elections.
We believe in our civic duty to participate in a democratic society, and one that includes voting.
Fossella says he and some fellow Republicans are also concerned about how the voting law could eventually impact migrants and asylum seekers currently flooding into New York.
What's to stop migrants from being allowed to vote? And if local elections are determined by, in some cases, a few hundred votes, thousands of people who shouldn't vote to begin with can alter the outcome of the election.
Now, as for a resolution in this case, I am being told the judge will be issuing a ruling in a few months. In Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn, Linda Schmidt, Fox 5 News.
It's all about fairness. God, but people also, suffering. I know it's not easy living in Venezuela, I'm sure. Living in socialism.
There's a lot of people here in the streets here in New York that are suffering, and they can't even get housing. But illegal immigrants that come over the border illegally get...
They're calling them migrants. They're not. They're illegal immigrants. Because they cross the border illegally. It's a legal thing.
It's almost like they're getting benefited, right? When they come here, they get food.
My friend, let me ask you a question. You know what? I came to America 1991. I came on Friday. No, I came on Sunday. Tuesday, I was working already. Is one of them working?
I can't answer. I don't believe so.
Overpopulated.
They're getting a free cell phone. Do you have a free cell phone?
No,
me too. I pay for it. Free cell phone services. Oh. Free cell phone itself. Whatever they give. But it's a smartphone in your hand. Free. Free housing. Free medicine. Free food. How good the food is, maybe it's shitty, but it's food. If you're hungry, you're not going to die from starvation. And you don't pay for it? I don't know.
Crazy, right?
Capitalism doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. We all have to work.
The city is at a crossroads. The call for economic empowerment and investment in Black Americans, particularly Black males who are statistically more likely to be victims of violence, has reached a fever pitch, but a clear path forward remains elusive. This is where the community messenger movement and the at-risk movement step in. These organizations are at the forefront of this struggle, advocating for the rights and welfare of Black New Yorkers and pushing for meaningful reform. The community messenger movement focuses on empowering Black communities through education and resources, while the at-risk movement targets systemic issues, such as violence and economic disparities that disproportionately affect Black males. The situation is complex and the stakes are high. The immigrant crisis and its impact on black minorities in New York City is a challenge that demands our collective action. So ask yourself this: what can you do to make a difference? Supporting movements like the Community Messenger movement and the At-Risk movement is a start. These organizations are fighting for a more inclusive, equitable future for all New Yorkers, and they need your help. Remember, change starts with you, so take action today. Let's ensure that no New Yorker, regardless of their race or origin, is left behind in our city's journey towards progress.